Hello everybody, welcome back to Max Reviews. I'm Brayden, and today we're going to be talking about Moonknight Episode 1, which just premiered on Disney Plus this morning, so I got to check it out, and so here's my review for it. I'm Brayden, this is Max Reviews, and I was extremely looking forward to this show. This was my most anticipated Marvel show of the entire year. I've been looking forward to it. I've been digging all the trailers. I thought it looked awesome, and we finally got the first episode. So here's my review for it. Starting right off here, first initial reaction, I just loved it. Yeah, Oscar Isaac does an amazing job as playing these multiple personalities of Moon Knight. He has this weird accent going on with this guy named Steven, who we basically follow for the entirety of the episode until the end. There's also Mark, who seems to be like the adventurer or something connected, and then you also have the Moon Knight, and then you also have this guy in his head. A lot of unexplained questions here. Just the style of the episode, the music, the darker themes, the blood that it actually shows, the action. I'm loving it all. We are only one episode in to the show, so I don't really know. It all relies on how it explains this, how it's all gonna go, because it seems like a very interesting episode. Because when we start off with Steven, just waking up and doing his regular stuff, then going back to bed, and then he wakes up in the middle of who knows where, this totally different landscape, and he proceeds to see this guy who we saw in the very beginning, the very first scene. We saw this guy have a glass of water, destroy the glass, put it in his shoes, and then walk off. And that's how we started the episode. And just very darker opening to a Marvel show on Disney Plus. But then we follow Steven, and he just somehow wakes up and he ends up in this place, and he sees this guy who, longer hair guy, and he's got like a cane, and he's got these scales on his tattooed like on his arm, and he touches people, and one guy is righteous, I guess. He's good and he survives, and then this old woman isn't good, and she just gets killed right there because she touches the guy. And so very interesting right there, darker, and then they're all sort of confronting Steven, and Steven just falls asleep, just goes out of it, blurs, and then he wakes up and he's punched all these guys down and blood's on his hand, and then it happens again, and he's driving away in a car, and he starts driving away in a car, and then he happens again, and it seems he's shooting people, but you don't see it because it's Mark or somebody that's taken over him. And very interesting way to do this episode. And then we sort of end with, he was gonna go on this, and then he wakes up. He thinks it didn't happen. He goes about his regular life. He thought it was all a dream because he got like hit with logs, and then he thought he just woke up, and he's like, oh, it was great. And then this thing with the goldfish, which is the name of the episode, Problem with the Goldfish. And I just thought that was an extremely weird name for this sort of episode. But the thing with this goldfish is it's missing one of its fins. It had one fin, and now it has two, and he's wondering what's going on. And so he notices that, brings it to the, like, a fish aquarium, I guess, where he got it, and they say, nice to see you again here. You were here yesterday, and all these little things like this. People calling him Stevie or something else, not Steven. And he really sort of hammers it into you that his name is Steven because there's different personalities. You got to keep track of this. And also his accent makes it pretty easy. And then just there's this skeletal guy who's has this bigger voice that's like, oh, the stupid one's in control or something like that. And just different sort of stuff like that you're trying to figure out what's going on, how did this happen. And just a lot of emphasis on mirrors here, where he's looking in a mirror and he moves forward and the reflection is still looking at him and changing. It's weird. And you see the skeletal guy coming towards him. And the episode sort of ends when it seems like he misses a date because he was 2 days. He thinks it's Friday when it's actually Sunday. He was going out on a date, it seems, and with somebody that he didn't really know. I guess Mark knew, the other version of him. And So he eats steak alone, and then he goes to like the overnight, and then he just sort of falls asleep, and then he just wakes up out of all of a sudden he's on a bus, and then he goes from the bus to his job. And then the guy with the scales on his arm confronts him and sort of does the thing to him, sees what's going on, and he says he has chaos in him, lets him get away. It seems like he's got a bunch of the guards and stuff at the museum that's on it are on his side, and then the episode ends with Mark, well, I guess Steven going through all this stuff, and then this sort of dog wolf thing is chasing him around and asks for the scarab, which he was holding, this golden scarab that the other guy wanted, but he couldn't give it to him because I guess either Mark or Moonknight was taking over him, and so he's in the bathroom, door locked, and the jackal, I guess it is, I just call it a jackal monster, is coming in, and Mark says, "I'll take over for you." So I guess Mark takes over, and we get to see sort of like a sort of very, like the scene that was in the trailers when we first saw Moonknight, where he's just beating up the jackal, turns around, Moonknight, end of the episode. So I think there's a bunch of potentially a great episode, but I want to see how this ends. And even though some critics who had seen all 4 episodes, 4 out of 6 episodes, they said that they loved it, but it all depended on the ending, how it ended. And so we don't see a whole ton of Moonknight this episode. Unlike in like WandaVision, we had so many questions. I sort of have a ton of questions. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we immediately saw Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so a bit different from that. And then Loki, we saw Loki right away. So this is a very different sort of MCU show. It is a lot darker than the rest of the MCU shows with how it goes, and it's got this sort of horror element to it, just a pinch of horror in there, and just a bit more blood than you would usually see in an MCU movie. But some people have been saying, is it going to be like the Marvel Netflix shows that went to Disney Plus? It's nothing like that. I'm sorry. It's not going to be that brutal with the action or anything. But great start to the show. I can't wait to see it. I'm going to be doing episode-to-episode reviews. This is just going to be a quicker review for me because I got a busier night ahead of me. So thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments down below what you thought of the episode. Like, subscribe to Max Reviews. What did you think of it? What's your anticipation level for the rest of it? And just, I got to say, Oscar Isaac did an amazing job here. So, Braden out.